The Dawning has made its way to Destiny 2 this year once again, despite everything that's happened in 2020. Today's video is going to discuss how holidays work in the Destiny universe and share some of the stories of the season. So whether you're hoping for a new shiny exotic this Dawning, a new sparrow, or just a good time with friends, let's cozy up near that fire and get in the holiday spirit together. Welcome back, Guardians. With Christmas right around the corner this Friday and other holidays sprinkled throughout, happy holidays to all you Guardians out there, by the way, I thought it'd be fun to share some stories of the Dawning in Destiny that some of you may have missed in the lore and some of my favorites as well. For those that don't know, the Dawning is Destiny's version of Christmas, or a winter holiday. Story-wise, it was implemented when the first people began venturing to the last safe city. They of course still celebrated holidays, so they sort of merged all of these traditions together, and there came the Dawning. For the game's purpose though, it first debuted back in 2016 after the release of Rise of Iron, which was 2 years after the game came out in 2014. And since then, every year we've had a Dawning and more stories are added to the lore for us to dive into. The first Dawning brought a winter theme to the tower, some new weapons, quests, rewards, and even Sparrow Racing League. So SRL first released the year prior in the Taken King, but made an appearance in this first Dawning as well. And then from there on, it didn't really come back. I know a lot of people still want it to, maybe it will someday, but for now the Dawning just involves this winter-themed holiday. Since then though, whether at the old or the new tower, we've been celebrating year after year. The Dawning is not just a celebration for the Guardians, but also for the people of the city. Everyone who's had the opportunity to survive under the protection of the Traveler.
The city's holidays are like the city itself. People from 1,000 nations coming together to create something new. These days remind humanity that even when all seems lost, there is always a chance for joy. Now, as the year turns, the city celebrates with gifts and games. And Guardians unite in the spirit of competition, pushing one another to become legends. Just for a moment, there's peace, harmony, hope. This is the Dawning. It is a time to honor all that humanity has built and all that it will create. And rejoice in the light.
If you've been around Destiny for a bit, you may recognize Eva Levante, who was not just introduced for the Dawning, but also other festive events like the Revelry, the Festival of the Lost, and also Crimson Days. There may be a couple of more I'm missing. Her previous days in Destiny 1 of being a shader vendor are over, and now she focuses on uniting Guardians and humans together in the last safe city to celebrate our past, our triumphs, and our victories together. Much like current holidays, citizens are brought closer to their families. They exchange gifts, stories, and tons more. Here's one of those traditions described from a Destiny 1 item. Fortune telling at the start of a new year is one of the many traditions refugees brought to the last city. Each dawning, Guardians open mysterious boxes containing paper fortunes, hoping for luck and good news. So this story here is one of my favorites. It's, I think, from a couple of years ago, and it has to do with Lord Shaxx trying to give a gift of a bow to someone special, and he's getting some advice from Eva. I was stealing a moment of quiet one afternoon to organize all the jumbled rolls of wrapping paper when I heard a resonant voice calling to me. How I jumped. It was a certain well-known titan. Not Zavala, but I will not tell you who. Evil Levante does not tattle about sensitive matters. He was carrying a formidable piece of weaponry, a complicated curve of many metal parts with a thick string connected to the ends. It's a compound bow, he explained, following my stare. For shooting arrows. I raised my eyebrows in puzzlement. On that weapon, he had placed a large poof of red velvet ribbon, a bow on a bow. I can tell from the tilt of his helmet and his taut grip on the weapon that something was amiss. I sighed. I saw this a few times every dawning. I suspected he was smitten and this would not be a short conversation. Warmest dawning greetings to you, Torito. This is not his actual name, naturally it's a made-up name. Evil Levante, they say you should give a dawning gift when you have a special friend, he boomed, trying to whisper. Who is they? I laughed. He ignored me. I bought my friend this bow. Is it a good gift? It depends on your friend. What are they like? What are they like? Can you describe them? She likes to fight. She is regal. She is very... The Titan paused. Is a recurve bow more romantic than a compound bow? He managed to whisper this time. Ah, I nodded knowingly. I wouldn't know the difference between those weapons, but I understood his problem. But maybe a book would be better, he asked. Again, it depends which book you choose. I have read Ikora's On Circles Revised Edition, and it was very good. That is a terrible dawning gift. Might I suggest literature? Torito tapped the horn on his helmet to reflect. I did destroy a book of hers once. Should I replace it? Maybe you shouldn't remind her of a bad thing happening. He didn't reply to this, so I went on. Perhaps this bow is already the right dawning gift for your friend. Do you think she'll use it? Definitely. Well then, I smiled, you have your answer. Happy dawning to you and your friend both. And to you, Eva. I hope your dawning is one to remember. Then the Titan thanked me, hefted the bow, and strode off. So some of you might have heard that one before. That is Lord Shaxx trying to gift this bow to Marisol, we believe, and he's asking Eva for his advice. It's pretty funny. We know the helmet stayed on, and we've seen other lore entries between these two in the past, so it was pretty funny to see that. In another story, it explains Amanda Holliday's traditions. This specific story explains how she was once stuck out in the woods when she was a young child with another family, and they took shelter in the wreckage of this old dropship. Then Amanda's mother says, we'll be here for a while, might as well do something to keep our spirits up. Lucia comes jumping, an old battery in her hand. Together, the girls make miniature garlands of tiny bulbs, and Lucia shows Amanda how to touch the wires to the battery to make them light up. Bright little lights in the vast dark forest. They then experience this dawning time together in this worn-out ship crash-landed in the middle of the woods. The other family, they eventually got separated from Amanda's people. Later on, Amanda's parents gone like so many others in the road to the last safe city. But Amanda Holliday still makes the lights, you know, uses spare odds and ends to decorate her workshop. She does it every dawning. So those are some pretty cool stories, and there are tons more out there. If you just want to search up in the lore, you can just type in dawning and it'll all come up. And speaking of that, here's a good piece to sort of summarize this and wrap it all up with the Winter Lotus Shell. Some give gifts and light candles. Some write fortunes and release paper lanterns etched with snowflakes and stars. Some sing songs and say prayers and tell stories passed down from the refugee roads. Tables bend under the weight of every kind of food and drink imaginable. The rich tapestry of dawning festival traditions found in the last city has only one common thread, but it is the brightest thread of all. We are humankind. Of those born in the cradle called Earth, we are the last. The nights are long, but we will survive them together. We must not let our light go out. So the dawning is a celebration of what it means to be a guardian and still a member of this group called humanity on Earth. What it means to be a member of the last safe city, all uniting together for better futures and have a great time in the process with these traditions. Whatever holiday you celebrate in real life, if any, I hope you have a great one and enjoyed today's festive video. If you'd like to see other videos just like this discussing the lore and secrets of the Destiny universe, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. My name's Evade, and I'll catch you Guardians in the next one.